thank you so much for joining us as we talk about Morae Classical Schools. Before we get started, though, I just want to introduce ourselves. So my name is Chris Wright, and I am the founder of Morae Classical Schools. Dave?
And I am Dave Breslin. I'm the Chief Officer of School Development and a member of the original board.
All right. So Dave and I have known each other for a little bit. He actually grew up going to summer camp with my wife, and that's how we had met. And we just started talking about what we could do to help the state of education today. And so before we get started, though, Dave, why don't you give a little background on who you are and why you've been in education?
Yes, so Chris, I've been in education now for 30 years, and I've served as a teacher, a coach, an athletic director, a director of marketing and admissions. I've been an assistant superintendent. I've been a head of school, so I've done the whole gamut. And presently, I'm also teaching at the collegiate level. And just really felt the Lord calling me into education way back when I was 22 years old as a young undergraduate, looking forward to going out there and trying to influence and trying to impact student minds and hearts in a way that brings great honor and glory to the Lord. And vast majority of my career, Chris, has been spent in Christian education, trying to positively influence students and those around me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a perfect person to help lead this and really to be the operations officer of everything that we're doing here. My job as the founder and CEO is to hire really smart people who know what they're doing, and then be able to help lead them and empower them and remove roadblocks from it. So, but to get into Morae Classical School, let me tell you the why. And so, as a military officer, I did 20 years in Air Force Special Warfare, was deployed a lot. So my wife was home with the kids, and we actually PCSed 11 times. And so as we're moving 11 different times, she's packing up the kids and getting to a new location, trying to get a new school, and all of those opportunities are difficult for the family. One, a move is difficult, but two, to do all of that and the impending, hey, my husband is deployed or my spouse is deployed, makes it all the more challenging. And so it really came to a head in 2000 and into 2009, beginning of 2010. And so here's the story of its genesis. I had an opportunity to go on a special location. And at that point, one of my commanders was like, hey, I actually need you to head down to Florida and run a schoolhouse. And I obviously did not want to do that. I saw that the other mission set was more my speed and my skill set. And as I was praying through it, I was like, all right, maybe I should do this. So went back and said, all right, I'm willing to do this. When do you need me to leave? And she said, really like you yesterday. So 3-4 weeks. And so now where we were going to one location, we are now moving to a completely different location. We have to find a new place to live. We're looking at school systems. We're looking at schools. All of those problem sets are in front of us. And I have to go now. So I pack everything up and I drive down in 2 weeks. And she stayed back in Colorado. And I actually found 2 other individuals who had the same thing happen to them. So now you have 3 what we call geo bachelors, all married with families, but we're staying in one location because it's the middle of the school year, waiting for the family to pack up to finish the school so we can get down. Fast forward 11 more months, and now I am moving again to North Carolina, again in the middle of the school year. This time we are picking up the family and moving them. And so we have this problem set where our kids are not stable in their learning. Family is not stable at all. And my spouse is on to me about this, and rightfully so. It's very challenging. And so it took about 2 more years, and she was like, you need to fix this. Like, you have run schools, you know education, you've been a part of it, you know leadership, go fix it. And so, as it always happens, you have a total family behind you, and we've been working on this for about 10 years. It's been a thought in my mind about 15 years. And so that is the genesis. That is the why we are doing this. So we're trying to fix a problem of moving multiple times and giving stability to the family and the education. And so, Dave, as you hear that story again, I know you've heard it a million times, and you're working through your mind, and knowing Karen, my wife, it becomes an impassionate way. And so you've heard that. From that story, why did you say, yes, I want to go do this?
Chris, as you and I discussed this over a period of years, and as we discussed leadership models, and we discussed the deep political impact that systems tend to have on leadership models, I was really, really interested in helping to create a new leadership model that was separated from the vast political machines that people can have when they come into leadership positions. And I was also really intrigued by your vision. And as I began to share my vision with not only my wife, but also colleagues and dear friends, everybody said the exact same thing. Oh my gosh, that is an incredible idea. And why hasn't anyone thought of that before? And so that encouragement allowed me to sit back and really pray hard about being a part of this, and knowing you and knowing your family and knowing your vision and knowing what a great man of integrity you are. This was something that I wanted to become a part of. And it became very clear about 2.5 years ago that I wanted to be on board. And since then, it has been nothing but a joy, filled with true excitement and joy, and being able to take our next step and move forward and discuss with everybody that's watching this what that looks like is an incredibly exciting proposition. And it's something that a lot of hard work's gone into, but this is such a great vision and such a great idea that it needs to come to fruition. And so, even as I'm talking to you about it right now, I've got a rush of excitement about what is to come.
Absolutely. And so it definitely, a lot of work has gone into this, and it's sort of like the duck on the water, up top, we're just sort of moving and you're hearing things, but underneath the water, the feet are going. And so,
Yes,
I've definitely felt that. So let's talk about what Morae Classical Schools is. Well, Morae Classical Schools are a couple different things. So let me give you the official definition, and then we'll walk through each of those, and Dave and I will discuss those. So Morae Classical Schools is a private Christian school, grades 5 through 12, and it's specifically tailored for military children. And we do that in a university model with virtual and in-person components. And so that's a mouthful. And so let's sort of break that down into a couple different things, and then tell you why we developed it like we did. So private school, that's important.
Yep.
Dave has been in the private school entity for 30 years. So Dave,
Sir.
why private? Why not charter or public?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And Chris, I know you and I have great respect for the public school system in our country and for all of our colleagues that are working tirelessly each day for the students. The private school model is a great model for certain families. It not only offers smaller class sizes, but it also offers the opportunity for individual attention to students from not only teachers, but also coaches and administrators. Teachers and coaches are able in that small setting to be able to really get to know their students in a positive way, in a really, really great way that will help impact their lives. Another thing, in the era of curriculum controversy, in a private school, curriculum is actually created and set forward by the organization itself, by a board or by the leadership. And in this model, it's incredibly important to know, Chris, that what we can do is we can tailor our curriculum and our programming towards the unique mission and vision of the organization. So that allows us to be able to have the freedom to be able to meet the needs specifically of our students. And with our model at Morae, where we're trying to meet the needs of a very specific group, the private school model allows us the opportunity to be able to create not only curriculum, but also programming and teaching models that directly impact our students. And also, not only our students, but also our families as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the word freedom. And so in the military, we always talked about freedom of maneuver. It gives us that ability to interact, to make our own decisions, and we see what is required for the military family much better than a state entity would. And so nothing against the state entity. It's just so big and so bureaucratic. They don't have the ability to tailor. And ultimately, that's why we do what we do.
And Chris, it also gives us the opportunity to be able to adjust necessary to be able to see what is working, what isn't working, and be able to adjust our model accordingly so that we meet the needs of our students and our families to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So the second part of it is we've got a private. Next is a classical model, and so the classical model is designed specifically for how we learn. And so there's a question of what is traditional versus classical education. If you think of how it was taught back before really the 1920s, that standard form of education is classical education. I learned from Dr. Christopher Perrin, who is fantastic. He has a ton of information on classical schools, why to do that. And I think the basic information is we want to teach people and students how to learn, not what to learn, but how to learn. And then they're able to formulate thoughts and then defend the way they think. And that's so critical in today's world where we have so much information flowing at us. The ability to decipher the information, to assess what is correct or incorrect, and then to formulate your beliefs off of that is really important. And so the thing about classical education is we talk about character, we talk about virtues, and we talk about truth. And there is a truth. There must be a truth. And for us, we are defining that truth as Christ. And so that's why we are a Christian classical school. We are a classical school that defines our principles and our virtues set on the foundation of the biblical world. Now, for us as administration, for us as staff, we are required to have a Christian background. It can be open to all denominations. All board members must have a Christian background because we must know the truth that we are professing and talking through and basing all other things upon. For the students themselves, they do not necessarily need to be a Christian, nor do the family members need to profess being a Christian. They just must understand that that's where we're coming from, and those are the virtues that will be taught, and understand that principle. And so, Dave, did I miss anything on classical education or why Christianity is such a big part of what we do?
But melding those two together really creates an atmosphere and an environment where there is freedom to learn and also where critical thinking is right at the center.
Yeah.
So, Chris, one of the things I love about this model is the fact that we are not dictating to the students what they should think. We are presenting information in a way that allows the students to be able to process it and be able to think critically on their own. And as they move forward, and all the studies certainly show that, you know, this model, and we'll talk about the university model in due time, we are preparing these students not only for life, but also for college. And what this model allows us to do is it allows the students to be able to create avenues where they are critically thinking in a way where they're solving problems. They're actually solving real life problems. They're working through things. They're not being dictated to. And that's an important element, and that allows them to be able to enter into a collegiate atmosphere where they're going to be required to think critically and think deeply. And our students will have that advantage. A classical Christian education gives the students that advantage of being able to look at situations and problems and think critically and look deep beneath the surface. You talk about the duck on the surface of the water. I think of it as an iceberg, where the vast majority of the iceberg is actually underneath the water. Classical Christian model really allows the students to be able to think in a different way that will prepare them really well, not only to lead their families and also to have a great career in the future, but also to be successful on the collegiate side as well.
Yeah, love that. Love the iceberg. Being able to get almost a submarine or scuba
Yeah,
gear and going down deep to find out what's really there.
that's right.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about having a private Christian classical school, and we said that it's grades 5 through 12.
Right.
Now, why are we doing 5 through 12?
Well, that's a great question, Chris. And you and I have gone back and forth often about this. We really do believe that, starting in fifth grade, which is traditionally what you would call middle school, we believe that starting at that point, having the students have a firm foundation, we can help them effectively take the next step in their thinking and in their growth, and also in their Christian walk. Starting at that age, we can help them explore their gifts and talents in a really unique way. And we can help show them that they can use their gifts and talents not only to better the world, but also to move their Christian lives forward as well. How can they use, Chris, their gifts and talents as a young 11 or 12-year-old, all the way up to 18 and 19 years old? How can they use them in a way that brings honor and glory to Christ and also helps make this world a better place? And we believe that by starting in fifth grade, we can start, right away. We can start running with them right away because they've got the background, they've got the foundation, and we can start moving them forward right away from day number one. And Morae is so classic and it's so great based on the fact that we've got this great curriculum and also have great programming and service available to these students that allows them to hit the ground running right from day number one.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about the virtual and the in-person and things like that, and why virtual anything less than fifth grade would be very difficult in nature because of the age, exactly like you said. And then you touched upon the curriculum, the fact that we've been able to partner with Hillsdale College and their Barney Charter School Initiative has completely changed what we can do
Right.
and deliver a very good classical curriculum and what I think is one of the best in the country.
Yes,
And
sir.
so I'm excited about that. Okay, so we're going grades 5 through 12, but when we say that the school is tailored specifically for the military, I don't want to underestimate what that means. And so, as a military person and as someone who fully understands all the things that the military asks, my job was to develop a not only curriculum, not only process, but a place where students can know what it is to be military and to be a military family, but for teachers and administration to change what they need to make that more sustainable. And here's what I mean. If you are going on a deployment, before you go, you get 2 weeks. In this model, you will be able to take off with your family at any time that you need to. That's pre-deployment or post-deployment. There are also things where in the training, especially with the Army, you have block training, which means that, there are times where you have block leave and they do not call the school systems and ask them when would be the appropriate time to have block leave. So instead, we're going to ask the military units, when is your block leave? And we're going to give you leave at that time. You're going to be able to go online and do virtual work wherever you go, whatever you do, at whatever time that you need to. And if we need to tailor when we take tests, we can do that and we can maneuver. Our job is to work with your units, your first sergeants, your commanders, your CEMs, or whoever is the enlisted personnel leading, and say, all right, what's going on with the family? How can we adjust and how can we make that happen? And that is such a critical thing for our schools and really the reason that we're doing it. And so that's how we're tailoring. But the way that we're able to do that is actually going through a university model. And so university model is not really well known. So Dave, can you explain what a university model is?
Yes, sir. So the university model, there are several important tenets to it. First of all, it's focused on several things. It's focused on a high quality educational experience that prepares students for colleges. It is a cost effective model, as we will talk about as well. And it's also, Chris, incredibly family friendly. So what you have is you've got this hybrid model where the students will be meeting in person and also we'll be meeting virtually as well. And it gives flexibility and it gives freedom for families to be able to spend more time together. It allows families to be able to back up the faith-based curriculum that we have been talking about. And another important thing about the university model, Chris, is the fact that it really does involve parents in the process. It makes parents partners in the process in a way that a traditional model certainly can involve parents in the process, but a university model absolutely involves parents in this process, giving them the freedom to be able to walk along their students, help their students, and also another critically important thing that you and I both know as being fathers of great families is the fact that a university model allows more family time. And that is one of the great tenets of the university model that is absolute gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think COVID did a couple things. One, it showed that larger traditional schools, uh, the 8 to 3, there's so much time that they're there, yet not all of that time is productive. And when we do a university model in a smaller classrooms, you're able uh, to really utilize that time a little bit better. One of the other things that I was able to do was go and visit a lot of boarding schools.
Mm,
And what shocked me was how little time they spent in the classroom.
yeah.
And so it was focused specific time of either an hour or an hour and a half, and they were no more than 6 hours a day. And the other time was studied that people could go to office hours and we could have discussions and all of those things. And it really got me to thinking, well, why can't we do that in person? Why not with a university model? So here's how this is going to work. 3 days a week, we're going to have a class from 8 to 12:30 where students will go into class and they will be able to work with their teacher. Then 5 days a week, they will be doing online work. Now, once they're in class for that 4.5 hours, they'll only have 2 hours of virtual time to do. But during the other time, they will have 6 to 6.5 hours on Monday and Friday, so they will be able to do it. So that's a great opportunity for students to learn outside the classroom, discuss with parents, and work through it, and then come to class to have conversations going over the material, to explain the material, and to work through some of the nuances that we just don't want you learning on your own at
Mhm.
home because they're complex and difficult. And then there's some that we actually need to have good conversations. You know, when you're talking about classic literature and you're reading the Iliad and the Odyssey, the learning that you're doing is in the classroom having conversations with your peers and with instructors. And so we find value in that. But one of the things that was just weighing on my heart was, okay, what about those who have military families, the dual military family? How are they going to be able to work that type of schedule? And so we are actually going to open the doors from 7:30, so 30 minutes before we start class, until 5:30 in the evening. And a lot of that time is going to be when we're not in the classroom. You'll either be in a study hall where someone will be monitoring that, or we'll be doing the athletics and sports where we can go outside, or we'll do other activities. And so we want to provide a place that is safe, that you know what's going on, that provides opportunity for learning, and then provides opportunity for athletics. So when they leave at 5:30, the goal is the books are shut. We're going home to spend time with family. They're going to go spend time in community activities at church, at clubs, at whatever you feel is necessary. But we want to take a time where we can focus on work and then throw it away and focus on other things that make us really good humans. And that's what we're working for. Absolutely. Now, just picture this. Student at Fort Moore in Alabama they have to move in the middle of the year, and they're going to go out to Fort Sam Houston. And at this point, you're moving in the middle of the year, you're packing up, but instead of trying to find a new school, instead of trying to move to a new location, they're already students at Morae Classical School. They're going to have the same teacher virtually that they had in one state and the other. Also, since we teach virtually on a national platform, we're all at the same place at the same time. So now we don't have to worry about, am I too far in front or behind? Not only that, but we have the same curriculum. So it doesn't matter if you took a class in English or history is not going to transfer to the next state. It will. It's the same. So you have now family members that are going to have the same teachers. They're going to be at the same place. They're going to use the same course material. They're going to be at the same platform as every other student that's moved around, because we have the opportunity to do that at Morae. We're in multiple different states. We're all over, and we're trying to get outside of every military installation. In 30 years, we're hoping to be over the entire United States and then be able to be overseas so that we can do the same thing through the DODEA to allow not only military, but state agency personnel as well to be able to take this school. All right, that's a lot. Dave, what did we miss? What else is there?
So this is such an exciting, unique model. It's so needed in this world, and this is something that Chris and I and the board really, really believe is life-changing. That this sort of education is absolutely life-changing, not only for individual students, but also for families as well. And Chris, we got an awesome opportunity for people to be able to partner with us.
That is absolutely correct. And so the next thing that we have is really, okay, what are the ways that we can partner with you? I think the first part is really to take a deep dive into what is Morae. And you can go to moraeclassical.org, and we'll put that in the description below, that you can go and click on and read, who are we? What are we about? How is this actually going to work? And then it has an opportunity for you to ask questions and send us an email. And, Dave and my email will be at the bottom later, and our cell phone numbers, and anything that you want to do to get a hold of us, we're here to talk to you. And so that will be important. The next thing is, some of you may not have children of that age and may want to figure out, this is something that I am passionate about. I either know a military family or just love this country and want to serve those who serve us on the daily. And so if that's it, then there are plenty of opportunities for you to help. And so I do ask, though, go do the research. Go find out who we are. Let's have conversations. Let's schedule a sit down where we can sit down and discuss more. And then we want to help you invest and partner with us in growing thinkers for the next generation. And so I just want to pass it off to Dave and say, why would people want to invest with us?
Yeah, Chris, that's a really good question. And it goes far beyond, having your name on a wall or on a donor list or have a classroom named after you. This is about life change. This is about providing something so incredibly valuable to military families, providing that stability, providing that predictability, providing that opportunity to really make a difference in the lives of these families who are really making a difference in the lives of our country as well. So there are a lot of opportunities to get involved. And to tell you the truth, Chris, we're at a point now where we have done so much planning, so much praying. We are all set, ready to go. We need people to step forward and join us in order for this to move forward. This is too good of an idea. This is too good of a mission and a vision to just have it pass by and say, well, you know what? Somebody else is going to take care of this. We need people who are going to be passionate about this mission and vision. We need people who want to walk with us and move forward. We want people who want to help make a difference in the lives of military families and kids. We want this to be something that is all encompassing and exciting. And we also want people who want to have a voice in what we're doing, who have great suggestions and ideas, maybe even former educators and people who have been through, the system, that have found things that have been wrong with the system, that want to sit back and say, hey, I've got an opportunity to be able to be a part of something that's working hard to do it right, with integrity, with vision, and with a vision that leads us directly towards Christ. So the time for action, Chris, is now. It's come. And we're incredibly excited to be able to put forth that opportunity for people.
And I love the thought pattern of, hey, how do we get all these people together right now to work it? And so one of the things that I've always seen at private schools is names up on buildings and names over classrooms and hallways. And my thought has always been, okay, people want their names to be seen and they want to be recognized. And I think that was just something that I misinterpreted. I didn't understand why that was so important. And so it's not that we want a name up on a school or a name up on a doorway or a walkway so that we can honor you. We want your name up on the building so that our students know that you care.
Yes.
Know that you cared enough to say that I don't even know them, but I want them to succeed in life. I want them to have an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have had before. And when people realize that they're not just going to a school, they're going to a place where someone sacrificed to make it possible, now we have the opportunity to honor your name as not just a person, but someone who cared enough to set the foundation for what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And so when we're asking you to consider to give to Morae, we're more asking you to consider being a part and a foundation and someone who can empower generations for years to come. And so when we say, oh, we would like to thank the Wright family for the building of the Lyceum, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to call it the Wright building. And that's the name of it because the Wrights are the one who laid the foundation to make it happen. And put your name in there. And so that you will know that that's important, that you gave. And so all students will always know that you did that and that you partnered with us. And so I think that's a critical difference. I think that was a misunderstanding on my part. And I've been able to see the difference and how students see the difference of what was a building is now an opportunity. And so there we go.
And Chris, just the opportunity that people have to be a part of the foundation of something that is not only great, but something that's going to grow, something that's going to endure the test of time. That also is an exciting thing that we want to pass on to you as well. The opportunity to be able to be part of the foundation of something that's certainly bigger than myself, bigger than Chris, bigger than any individual, but something that is critically important to the collective whole. That is an exciting opportunity, and we want people to be excited about being a part of this foundation and seeing it grow and seeing the great things that it can do in terms of impacting families and kids, not only for Christ, but also for our country as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if this is something that you want to do or that you feel called to do, I want you to go to moraeclassical.org. Go read something and find some information out about the school. Find more information. Call us. Email us. Let's have those conversations, and then we'll sit down and we'll talk about exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. If you're ready today, of course, we're always ready. You can jump on moraeclassical.org right up at the top. You can hit tax deductible giving. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so all of this is tax deductible giving. Again, we really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk to you and to partner with you. Now, that's for individuals. Let's have a different conversation with corporations and organizations. You have an incredible opportunity to give. You have an incredible opportunity to show how you can partner with these schools. And what we're doing for organizations is we're actually giving the ability to name an entire school after an organization. So if you wanted to be the donor, it would be your name's Morae Classical School at Auburn, or whatever city or whatever base that we're outside of, that you have the opportunity to do that. And so we want to have that empowerment to say, not only are we a classical school, not only are we contributing to the education and the opportunity for students, but we're also partnering with the community, and our community is involved and cares enough about you as a military family and enough about this organization and this base that is near us, that we're all rallying behind this. And it's so important for these students to know that you care and that sees your name and that can just develop that relationship as we go forward. And so, Dave, what is it that you see as the big opportunity for an organization to be able to donate to Morae Classical Schools?
Well, there are so many opportunities, Chris. And again, it's community investment. It's all about investing within the local community and really giving these kids and these families an opportunity to be able to excel. One thing that I've learned about the military and about military life from you and from some of my colleagues that have been in the military is that military life is very, very difficult. And it is incredibly difficult, especially for the kids. And giving the kids an opportunity to be able to have something that is set, something that is predictable, something that gives them hope. Any opportunity to do that is an absolute privilege and a joy. And it's why you and I are in this business. And we want to invite corporations and other people to be able to become a part of that hope and that joy. So the opportunity is absolutely incredible. And it's really, really exciting.
Could not have said it better myself. That the opportunity is exciting. It is a critical way to move forward and to be able to go. So remember, this is a 501c3, so it is tax deductible. It is a charity giving, and is able to help your corporation out as well financially. So we've gone through the gambit. We've talked about why Morae Classical. We've talked about what is the school, how is it going to interact. One thing that I do want to discuss real quick is, where are we and where are we going?
Yes, sir.
So 2024, 2025, which is this fall, we are moving forward for the state of Alabama, where we are going to be in a virtual program. And then we are looking to add on to that in multiple different campuses at a future date. So we are looking at an Auburn campus, which is going to be our home campus. Then we're going outside of military organizations. So we're going to go to Montgomery. We're going to go to Birmingham. We're going to go to Huntsville. And we're going to try to build outside of those places. The next states that we're looking at are North Carolina, Texas, and we haven't announced this yet, but today we will. We are going to go also to Florida. And so we have been researching the markets. We've been seeing where we can go and what's the best places. And we're very excited to add Florida, as I've been stationed in the Panhandle up at Eglin and right outside of Pensacola. And then obviously my first duty station was there in Tampa, Florida. So we are looking forward to it, and we are excited about that. closing thoughts, Dave, what do you have?
Just to reiterate this vision, starting off with the virtual, and then our goal is to build actual buildings and physical structures and physical schools in the areas that Chris talked about, and have actual in-person schools in all of those areas. So this, Chris, is not just one school. This is a network of schools throughout the Southeast that will be able to serve the needs of our military families. And so our goal is to start off with this virtual school and then expand into 12 to 15 to 20 individual locations so that when families are moved to different bases, they're going to have a home base in terms of their school.
It's an incredible vision. It's an incredible opportunity. We're really, really excited. We're excited to have you on board and to have organizations that invest in the military family, and the military kids. And I would love nothing more to stop what I'm doing and to come speak with you. So email me, give me a call, let me come and present this to you and fully give you all the details and answer all the questions that you have. Until then, visit the website. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and taking the time to learn more about Morae. So from Dr. Dave Breslin and I, thank you again and look forward to seeing you soon.